Good evening, I am Jarvis Bonner with your VON Major News Package for today, Wednesday, 24th October 2018. In our lead stories nationally, the National Security Strategy Formulation Committee NSSFC to host its first public forum, and St. Kitts and Nevis supports the establishment of a UE campus in Antigua and Barbuda. Regionally, public sector layoffs commence in Barbados. Internationally, explosive devices sent to Clinton, Obama, CNN and other US officials. And in sports, Kohli becomes the fastest batsman to reach 10,000 ODI runs. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back on our to the national news in detail. Residents in St. Kitts and Nevis are encouraged to bring their concerns and suggestions on matters relating to public safety and security during a series of town hall meetings that will begin on Thursday, October 25th. The public forums are organized by the National Security Strategy Formulation Committee NSSFC, which was established in September 2018. The committee is mandated to look at the issue of crime from the perspective of policing, national security, criminal justice reform, social intervention, and other related issues. The committee meets regularly with stakeholders from the public and private sectors and civil society groups. To date, meetings have been held with representatives of the police, defense force, immigration, prison, education ministry, Ross University security, and others. A meeting is planned tomorrow, Thursday, with representatives of the media. Consultations with representatives from the Chamber of Industry and Commerce and private security agencies are scheduled for next week. Chairman of the NSSFC, Dwyer Astafan, is appealing to members of the general public to accept their social responsibility to participate in the town hall meetings.
National security is a very broad-reaching thing. It's the safety and security of everybody in the country. You would presume, logically, that everybody would understand that they have a critical interest in it and should participate in the process to make sure that our country can be safer for us, for those who visit us, and for those who will follow in generations to come.
Of the NSSFC, Dwyer Astafan. St. Kitts and Nevis is throwing its support for the possible establishment of a fourth physical campus of the University of West Indies in Antigua and Barbuda. This was one of the areas discussed at the 66th meeting of the OECS Authority held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on October 23, 2018. The heads of government received a presentation from Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, UE, Sir Hilary Beckles, on the possible establishment of the campus. The meeting considered the proposal with an agreement to review the documentation presented by the appointed task force currently assessing the feasibility of the venture. This is Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris speaking during a press conference at the end of the meeting.
With the coming of the residential campus in Antigua, we are looking to have better benefits in terms of the affordability and accessibility to our students. Antigua, for example, is 15 minutes travel from St. Kitts, and you can easily relate to that in terms of time, in terms of distance. So we are looking to grow the input and also to have situated in the region a reservoir of talent in which we could more easily call upon to provide the research work and many areas germane to us in terms of our development challenge, and to get a more quick response to our particular needs.
Heads of government further discussed the improved academic relationship between the UE and the community colleges within the OECS member states. The meeting was held under the chairmanship of Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Ministry of Education, through its executing department, the Curriculum Development Unit, will host the Federation's first National STEM Fair on November 8th and 9th at the Independence Square in Bastille. Under the theme Inspiring the Next Generation, the Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics, STEM, the STEM Fair is organized to help students and citizens learn about the exciting things in STEM and how it plays a pivotal role globally in the fields of medicine, manufacturing and others. After hosting their school's STEM Fair, each institution was asked to register their students' projects with a maximum of 5 entries per school. The contest will be judged in three categories for the primary and 2 categories for the high school students. Experienced judges will critique the projects for qualities including presentation, clarity and originality. Judging will begin at 10 a.m. on November 8th, and the winner and runner-ups will be announced by end of day on November 9th. The first National Science Fair intends to support the youth in developing a strong foundation and passion for STEM and foster their creativity and critical thinking skills, which are necessary for any career path. The international assistance request submitted to the United Nations to implement an Intangible Cultural Heritage ICH project in St. Kitts and Nevis has been approved by the United Nations Bureau of the Committee for Safeguarding Intangible Cultural Heritage. Secretary General for the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO National Commission for St. Kitts and Nevis, Antonia Maynard, said the approval of this project to the tune of some US $100,000 will allow St. Kitts and Nevis to create institutional and professional environments for safeguarding its intangible cultural heritage. The proposal submitted by St. Kitts and Nevis was titled Strengthening Inventory Preparation Capacity for Implementing the 2003 Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in St. Kitts and Nevis. The implementation of the ICH project will be overseen by the St. Kitts Ministry of Culture, the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society NHCS, and the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation. The lead ICH focal point in St. Kitts is Marlene Phillips, Research and Documentation Specialist, St. Kitts Department of Culture, Research and Documentation Unit RDU, and Ms. Pauline Ngonjiri, Acting Executive Director NHCS, is a secondary focal point in Nevis. The project will be implemented in 3 phases: training of trainers to understand the content of 2003 ICH Convention, community-based inventorying, a pilot inventorying exercise, and St. Kitts and Nevis awareness campaign. The training will enable St. Kitts and Nevis to have an official register of intangible cultural heritage, including ICH elements, while building human capacity to continue ongoing safeguarding practices within local communities. The SKN ICH database will be accessible to the public through different mediums, a database, website, and printed materials. Government, organizations, stakeholders, and the public will be sensitized about ICH, the importance of protecting it, and methods of safeguarding it through the public awareness advertising campaigns. St. Kitts and Nevis and other Caribbean countries are being urged to take immediate action to increase polio vaccination coverage to 95% as the world observes World Polio Day today, Wednesday, 24th October. The Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, made the call amid reports that coverage in many countries of the Americas is below recommended levels. A release from PAHO states that the Americas have remained free from cases of wild poliovirus for 27 years, with the last case detected on August 23, 1991 in Peru. It said the countries of the region were able to eliminate polio by achieving high rates of vaccination coverage of children and through sustained epidemiological surveillance to ensure early detection of any outbreaks. PAHO said recent reports, however, show that countries are not maintaining the 95% vaccination coverage rate required at all levels to prevent polio transmission. Poliomyelitis is a highly contagious disease caused by a virus that invades the nervous system, resulting in a paralysis in a matter of hours. It mostly affects children under the age of 5 and is transmitted by person to person. While there is no cure, PAHO said the virus is preventable by vaccine. It said polio vaccine given multiple times can protect a child's life. Police are investigating an incident in which two armed masked men shot and injured an individual, then robbed two persons in St. Paul's on Tuesday evening. Reports said that 44-year-old Wayne Connor of St. Paul's was sitting on a wall in the vicinity of a supermarket along the island's main road when two masked gunmen ran up from a road and began firing shots at him. The incident is reported to have taken place at about 10:15. The men then made their way up to Rollins Avenue and robbed two individuals at gunpoint. Connor was transported to the JNF Hospital in Bastille with multiple gunshot wounds, where he is listed as being in a stable condition. Leader of the opposition, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzel Douglas, has expressed condolences to the government and people of Taiwan on the recent train disaster which claimed the lives of nearly 24 persons and almost 190 injured. He stated, and I quote, "This is indeed a grave tragedy, and my sympathies go out to the families and loved ones of those persons who were affected in this accident," end quote. He added that the 20 years we or his Labour administration were in government, the relationship between the ROC Taiwan and St. Kitts and Nevis was a blessing to us all. The Puyama Express 6432 service derailed close to Xingma Station near the town of Suao, about 70 kilometers from the territory's capital, Taipei. A total of 366 passengers were on the train when all 8 of its carriages derailed. At least 3 children are among the dead. And lastly, in our national news segment, Member of Parliament and Representative for St. Christopher No. 3, the Honourable Conris Maynard, urged supporters of the Nevis Reformation Party NRP during the party's convention on Sunday, October 21st, to work together. MP Maynard was at the time addressing the gathering as the featured guest speaker at the convention. He was quoted as saying, "All NRP soldiers have a common goal to make your party so strong and appealing that the electorate chooses them the next time around to run the affairs of Nevis at the federal level." Moreover, Mr. Maynard said that a valuable lesson is to be learnt from the creation of the present St. Kitts Nevis coalition government, who, according to him, managed to use their disdain for one man as a linchpin to combine their efforts towards a common goal. He said the party members must listen to the electorates and take an interest of the wants of the people, which are essential in order to further strengthen the internal structure of the party. And that's our national news segment. You can visit the website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. Regional news comes up next.
Home. It means something different to everyone. It's a place you love, a place as unique as you are, a place where you can be yourselves, a place for life's big surprises, and not to mention the small ones. Moments to cherish, and moments that last a lifetime. It's a place for nurture, and a place where you can grow together. It's home. So whether you're building, purchasing, or renovating, the Bank of Nevis is here to open the door, giving you the confidence to dream and the help you need to get there with a mortgage loan from the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back and now on to the regional news. Out of Barbados, days after Prime Minister Mia Mottley announced plans to cut up to 1,500 government jobs, public servants have started going home. Head of the Civil Service, Dr. Louis Woodruff, confirmed in a government statement issued on Monday evening that the process began last Friday and was expected to end today. That's actually Tuesday. It was on October 14th, in a televised address to the nation, that Mottley said no more than 1,500, mostly in temporary positions, would be laid off in the weeks to come as our government continues to execute its International Monetary Fund IMF-supported Economic Recovery and Transformation Plan, which includes restructuring the public service and reducing expenditure. A second phase of layoffs, up to 1,000 more, is expected to be carried out in the next fiscal year at statutory corporations, according to Government Economic Advisor Dr. Kevin Greenidge. News from the British Virgin Islands. A Lower Estate man that was found with a relatively large quantity of cannabis and $1,770 in cash told police he sold the drugs because his salary as a sales clerk was not enough for him to survive. 22-year-old Randolph Westcott was given a 1-year suspended sentence for the offense of possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply to another. Magistrate Sean Innocent also ordered that the $1,770, which Westcott admitted were proceeds of crime, be forfeited to government's coffers. Notably, he was not charged with possession of proceeds of criminal conduct. According to media reports, Magistrate Innocent told the offender he would not impose any fines as he, Westcott, would likely return to selling drugs to pay the court. In Trinidad, in the wake of 2 earthquakes over the last weekend, 2 more tremors occurred west of Trinidad and Tobago on Monday night, October 22nd, just minutes apart. The first, a 5.1 magnitude tremor, occurred at 11:37 p.m. located 88 kilometers west-southwest of the capital Port of Spain, 91 kilometers west-northwest of San Fernando, and 110 kilometers east-southeast of Quirapano in Venezuela. Just 4 minutes later, a quake measuring 4.2 on the Richter scale was recorded not far away. It was located 50 kilometers southwest of Port of Spain, 58 kilometers northwest of San Fernando, and 74 kilometers west-southwest of Arima, Trinidad and Tobago. Fortunately, there were no reports of damage or injuries from either quake. And lastly, in our regional news segment, in Anguilla, tourism and employment have been given a big boost with the reopening of the 181-room Four Seasons Resort and Residences last Thursday, October 25th. That's actually last Thursday, October 18th. For several days from October 11th to the 16th, the Planning Committee and the renamed Department of People and Culture have been engaged in conducting orientation sessions for the resort's 550 employees, comprising over 100 new recruits and established team members. The orientation session on Tuesday, October 16th for the new hires was welcomed and addressed by General Manager Mr. Jose Adams, who introduced the Planning Committee and thanked the Human Resource, now People and Culture staff for organizing the sessions. And that's it for our regional news segment. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back and now on to the international news. Suspected explosive devices have been sent to top Democrats including Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, as well as CNN, U.S. officials have said. It comes 2 days after a pipe bomb was found at the home of financier George Soros in New York City.
There have been a few bombs that appear to be similar, although it's very hard for any officials to say that they are indeed the same. But we hear about the package that was sent to President Obama's residence and then to former President Bill Clinton and former First Lady Hillary Clinton's residences. In those cases, of course, neither one were in any immediate danger. And it comes on the heels of another bomb that was sent to the billionaire philanthropist George Soros.
The European Parliament has voted for a complete ban on a range of single-use plastics across the Union in a bid to stop pollution of the oceans. Here's more in this report.
This legislation was proposed by the European Commission, which is the executive arm of the EU, and they say this is a massive step to help the planet, to deal with that 150,000 tons of plastic waste that goes from Europe into the ocean every year. The 28 member states of the EU will also be told to find ways of cutting down on other things like containers and cups, and the manufacturers of these items will also have to take more responsibility for what happens to the items they make after they've been used. In other words, contributing to the financial cost of cleaning them up.
Apple and Samsung have been fined millions of euros each by Italian authorities over planned obsolescence in smartphones. Apple was hit with a 10 million euro fine, while Samsung received a smaller bill of 5 million euros.
The Italian Competition Authority describes the actions of the two companies as unfair commercial practices. It says they insistently proposed updates which caused serious malfunctions and reduced performance. Apple is also accused of failing to provide information about its batteries, including how to maintain and replace them. Apple did acknowledge last year that its software can slow down handsets with aging batteries, but denied that it was intended to shorten the phone's life.
Still in international news, a lottery ticket holder in South Carolina has scooped the largest jackpot in U.S. history. Mega Millions confirmed there was one winner of the whopping $1.6 billion prize. The jackpot numbers were 28, 70, 5, 62, 65 with a mega ball of 5. The odds of choosing those numbers was said to be 1 in more than 300 million. The winner can decide to take a cash payout of $913 million after tax or opt to have it paid out in installments over 29 years. However, who that lucky winner is may remain a mystery to the public. South Carolina is one of 8 states where lottery winners can keep their anonymity. And finally, in our international news segment, the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has vowed to punish all the culprits responsible for the murder of writer Jamal Khashoggi in Turkey. Khashoggi died during an October 2nd visit to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Speaking at a business forum in Riyadh, Mohammed bin Salman said the crime was painful to all Saudis, but he would never allow any rift with Turkey. The Saudis have previously denied accusations that the prince, the de facto ruler, had a role in the killing. Here is the Crown Prince.
The crime was really painful to all Saudis, and I believe it is really painful to every human being in the world. It is a heinous crime that cannot be justified. Today, Saudi Arabia is carrying out all the legalities to finalize the investigations.
And that brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
Get more than just VAT. TDC Automotive is giving you more. Pay no VAT on the first $50,000 on any vehicle. No deposit, no interest for the first 3 months. That's no VAT. No deposit, no interest. We give you more, so you save more. Receive up to $3,000 in cashback credit. Save up to 60% off your insurance premium. Get your personalized TDC token for 2 years of instant savings. Plus, save thousands in free extras. Get more than just VAT from TDC Automotive. We're number 1 for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and now on to the sports. In cricket, India captain Virat Kohli became the fastest batsman to reach 10,000 one-day international runs against West Indies in Visakhapatnam. Kohli, who achieved the feat in his 205th innings, surpassed India legend Sachin Tendulkar, who did it in 259 innings in 2001. He got to 10,000 runs with a single off spinner Ashley Nurse in his 213th ODI. The 29-year-old is the 13th batsman to reach the milestone and the 5th Indian. The historic run against West Indies was part of his 37-ton in ODIs, as he made an unbeaten 157 from 129 balls in India's total of 321 for 6 from 50 overs. In local sports, after a major lull in play, basketball action will return to Nevis on Saturday night, October 27th. According to President of the Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, NABA, Ms. Wanda Parry, there were some kinks to be sorted out after the last tournament. Based on reports, those matters have been resolved, and there will be 2 exhibition matches on Saturday evening at the Craddock Road basketball court. The games also will include a visiting team from St. Kitts, which is expected to be on show. In basketball, as the 2018-2019 NBA season continues, tonight's matches will see the Phoenix Suns versus the LA Lakers, as well as the Golden State Warriors versus the Washington Wizards. On Monday night, Spurs defeated the Lakers 143-142, and the Golden State Warriors defeated the Phoenix Suns 123-103. The Warriors won a 16th straight against Phoenix, their longest unbeaten run against a team in franchise history. The Lakers have lost their first 3 games of the regular season. In football, Usain Bolt could still sign for Central Coast Mariners after the Australian Football Association said it was working with the club in regards to funding. The Australian club said on Monday it was unlikely Jamaican trialist Bolt would sign a deal without a financial contribution from a third party. The 8-time Olympic champion retired from athletics in 2017 and has been on trial with the Mariners since August. In tennis, defending champion Caroline Wozniacki beat Petra Kvitova for the first time in 4 years with a 7-5, 3-6, 6-2 victory at the WTA Finals in Singapore. Denmark's Wozniacki, 28, sealed the win in 2 hours and 19 minutes despite needing medical treatment on her knee during the second set. And lastly, in our sports segment in athletics, Eilish McColgan followed in her mother's footsteps to win the Great South Run on her debut in the event. The 27-year-old, running competitively over 10 miles, which is equal to 16 kilometers, for the first time, clocked a time of 54 minutes and 43 seconds to take victory, beating Steph Tewell and reigning champion Gemma Steele. McColgan's mother, Liz, won the event twice in 1995 and 1997. And that's it for sports. The weather is next. Welcome back. The weather tonight will continue to be mainly fair, with a 10% or a slight chance of showers. The weather tomorrow will be mainly sunny, with a 10% or a slight chance of showers. The winds are east at 7 to 19 kilometers per hour or 4 to 10 knots and becoming lighter and variable or calm mainly overnight. The seas are slight with significant wave heights from 0.9 to 1.2 meters or 3 to 4 feet. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 6 past the hour of 6 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Wednesday, 24th October 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, the National Security Strategy Formulation Committee, NSSFC, to host its first public forum, and St. Kitts and Nevis supports the establishment of a UE campus in Antigua and Barbuda. Regionally, public sector layoffs commence in Barbados. Internationally, explosive devices sent to Clinton, Obama, CNN and other U.S. officials. And in sports, Kohli becomes the fastest batsman to reach 10,000 ODI runs. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Jarvis Brown wishing you a pleasant evening.